Greetings, fellow test subjects. Test subject 1337 here for Aperture Gaming. They make it, we test it, you play it. And welcome to our review of Assassinins Creed Odyssey. Sorry, wrong Odyssey. Assassinins Creed Odyssey. Yeah. Video games are going through the Odyssey phase. That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, so it is another installment in the Assassinins Creed series. Now, the previous game was Assassinins Creed Origins. It took place, the present-day protagonist was Layla Hassan, and I hope I pronounced that right. If I'm butchering it, I'm sorry. And you went back to Egypt in the year 48 BCE. So how do we follow up with the Origins? With the precursor, the prequel, the prologue, the backstory. This game, except it's not in Egypt, it takes place in Greece. And it is in the year 431 BCE. The Peloponnesian War. So yeah, and the reason why I mentioned Assassinins Creed Origins is because this game borrows heavily in like play aspects and controls, menu options. Yeah, so along with Origins, it also has some elements of Syndicate, because from what I learned, this game was made by the same people that did the same Ubisoft studio that produced Syndicate. It also has, not to mention if you're a Ubisoft Club member, you can unlock an Evie Fry skin. Anyway, so this game borrows heavily from Origins, a little bit of Syndicate. It also kind of reminds me, there's some factors that remind me of Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. And there's one area that kind of reminds me of Sid Meier's Pirates. Alright, so this game, here's what, they've said that they're trying to move into the RPG elements of this, and that's what they do. Like, it's not all just, oh, go over here, fight this guy. Well, that is kind of a main factor for this game, but they also have, like, equip this piece of armor, increase health. So yeah, they borrowed the sword, shield, all the weapons, arrows, and clothing factors from Origins, and based on your level, that's to see if it's too high for you or too low for you. And the map region that you unlock also has elements of, oh, you can't go here until you're this level, or it's too high. And another thing that the game borrows from, they borrow a little bit from Black Flags, because it's not all land missions. You do sail around, you do engage in naval skirmishes, but instead of cannons, you have archers and javelins and fire to help aid you. Yeah, so, and they do have shanties. They do sing while sailing about, so yeah, heavy borrow from Black Flag there. The gameplay is interesting because here's what. When they first announced this, they said for the first time ever you can play as either a male or female assassin. Now, Yahtzee, aka Zero Punctuation, fast-talking animated video game reviewer who swears profusely, so viewer discretion is advised for watching him. He actually pointed out, he's like, that is not something new. You did this back in Syndicate. So yeah, in Syndicate you could switch back and forth. Evie was more stealth-based and Jacob was more combat-based. But for this game, here's what. I wanted to make sure that this, see how this played out. So I started the game, I played through as one of the characters. I didn't get too far into it because I wanted to test my theory. So I saved it, so then I restarted the game, new save file and everything, and I picked the other character. He plays either Alexios or Cassandra. Because at the start of the game, the artifact that you're looking at has the DNA of both of them on there, so you get to choose how the story plays out. So then I started the second one. It's basically the same game. The voice actors, they all did basically the same lines, and then depending on who you choose, they just had to change something like, he is blah blah blah, or she is blah blah blah, him, her, and based on how some people talk to you. So yeah. But the lead character is basically just the two voice actors given the same script and say, okay, read this line. Now here's what, as you talk, you can, for some of the talk scenes, you can then select, I want choice A, B, or C. The yellow ones, those are the mandatory ones, and then there's like white text where it's just like to fill you in with information. Also, when you start the game, you can select the difficulty and which mode you want. There's like a Explorer's mode, because since there's no mini-map, it says this is the way the game was truly meant to be played. But you can switch it at any time, so that's pretty cool. Now, one of the factors is they say that every action you do in the game, choices have consequences. Like, you see someone is stealing information from someone, you can either let them live and give them a warning, or you can eliminate them, so they have to deal with them again. Or if you help someone, or if you don't help someone, the consequences will come back to haunt you. So it's a really good game, and I like the abilities. That's what I was going for. So you get abilities like you have for combat, you have for stealth, and then there's like a third one. I want to say gladiator. Here's what. As you play through the game, you'll come across where like there's areas that are being contested. Either you're attacking or you're defending. And based on how many people you take out in the battle, depends on if you win or not. And that's kind of where the Sid Meier's Pirates thing comes in. It reminds me of that from like the shipboarding battles they did. Which they also have the Assassin's Creed Black Flag shipboarding battles for that also. Or you can just ram them. So pretty much this game it's a sandbox and a toy box, all mixed together with various factors from previous Assassin's Creed games. Now, while I do enjoy the game, I'm hoping that there will be a patch update in the very near foreseeable future, because there's a couple of issues. So when I was doing the story with character A, there was one area where I could choose the dialogue, and the images would freeze or go slowly at times. Yet when I encountered the same area when I was playing as character B, it didn't happen. So then I switched back to character A, and as I went through, there were a couple technical difficulties, like either when I was doing, like in the middle of a mission, and like here's the thing, when I was riding my horse, at one point it jumped over something, and then everything froze. And then after like a second or two, except for the camera, I was moving that, and then after a second or two, it got its senses back together. So there is some technical difficulties in game mode, in the selection process, for like the dialogue, and when I was watching some of the cutscenes, the mouths and audio did not sync up, so there is a few issues. That is going to kind of hurt it. I mean, you need to work on this. These are things, but hopefully, like I said, it can be ironed out with a patch update. But if this happened like when I was like in the middle of heavy combat or something, it could have given me a game over. So while I do enjoy the game, I love how it's paying tribute to the mythos of Greek mythology. And it's great. Visually, the game looks great. Love the textures on the island, on the ship, on all the buildings. The clothing people wear, visually, is an amazing game. It sounds great. I also like the choices for attire and weapons and different kinds. And I like how you got the choice system. It even has like the special treasure hunting clues like they gave from the Origins. So while I like all this, the bugs, they do need to be ironed out. So we here at Aperture Gaming, we give Assassin's Creed Odyssey an 8 3/4, or 8.75 out of 10. Now, I haven't had any more troubles, but I've been playing very cautiously. But if they do get these taken care of, then I will bump up the score to a 9.5. So, why is it not get a perfect 10? Well, like I said, they're acting like, oh, it's something new, different, get to play as two characters, different story, blah blah blah. There's that factor, and honestly, when I started up playing the game as one of the other characters, I thought it was going to be like different, but no, it's pretty much the same story. The dialogue, while it is good, it's neutral. It's like to make sure that whichever character you choose, this way it won't interfere with the story or be overly drastically different. So it's really good. It's so good. The question is, rent? Is it buy, rent, or pass? This is a definite buy. If you've been with the series if you played other games in the series, then why would you not play the latest installment? I mean, seriously, this is a good game. This is a good series. I've enjoyed it, and I will continue to enjoy it. In fact, so much so that this book that I'm kind of using to help illustrate the whole Greek thing, I'm going to start reading this thing. I mean, on Game Informer, they have a thing that says the origins behind all the stories and mythos that they use for the game, so it would be kind of interesting to help delve further in and figure out a little more about the backstory, about some of the mythology. So this is a good game, a 9.5 out of 10 once they get the bugs fixed. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Till next time, this has been Test Subject 1337 for Aperture Gaming saying thank you and game on.